Hi everyone, so I thought I'd do a quick collective read for this week. So if you want to join the new channel, it's in the description box below. So we're going to be doing weeklies, we're going to be doing different kinds of content. It's in the description box below. You might hear the fan and noise in the background. Again, it's just the communal place, so just go with it. But I just wanted to put a video out. I was getting a strong signal last night that I should put a video out for the collective, so let's see what happens. If you want to book the coaching, it's below. If you want to book a face-to-face, it's in the description. If you want to book the love and career that's on deal, it's in the description. Like the video. Okay, so the message I'm getting for this week is all about people who are hiding away. So what I'm getting here is with the heavy spiritual attacks, with the chaos of the world, with the way people are generally acting, with the frequency of the earth, and the Lion's Gate, there's also a reading for that in the description. I feel like it's making people nervous, okay? So the energy is kind of jittery and nervous. Some of you are excited. It's actually giving you energy to propel forward, to come out of isolation, to come out of fear. That's what I'm actually getting for some of you who are watching this. Like, you're just done with it. You're done with certain people, you're cutting your losses, you're breaking cords, you're closing doors, because you're just done. Like, these people are fucking boring, you know what I mean? You're just like, listen, you're boring, like, you're killing brain cells. So I do feel like some of you have just come to the end of the line when it comes to certain people in your life. There's a lot of dickheads out here, and they're talking about not, and they're going nowhere. They're just low class. And I do think you're coming to a high level of standard within yourself where you're like, I just don't want to be around this, like, this does not represent me. No, thank you. And you're not even asked about what they're saying or what they're doing. Bored people bore, and if you've got a lot of time on your hands, that's what you do. Right? So I think some of you is coming back to you, like, you want to be in an inspired energy, you want to create, you want to manifest, you want to build your future. Ten of Pentacles is all about building a lasting legacy. It's about building wealth, maybe marriage. I feel like a big message for a lot of you is to focus on the long term. Stop getting wrapped up in pettiness. Stop getting wrapped up in your current situation, your current reality. Sit down and start thinking, like, I really do not want to be in this for the long term, and start writing down your goals. The High Priestess is all about writing. It's all about getting a plan. It's about deep investigation, maybe coaching, going to a therapist. It's going deep within yourself and saying, why am I in this reality? I feel triggered, I feel pissed off, I feel exhausted. So why am I with this person? So we are moving into Virgo season, so I do feel like this is kind of where there's a certain feeling, a certain sensation where it's unbearable. And you know what they say, humans are very rigid, they're very stubborn, they don't tend to change unless they have to. I get it as like this week, some of you feel so uneasy within yourself, you're so unhappy that it's like something has got to give, like, I have to change, like, I can't feel this way anymore, I can't be around these people, I can't keep doing this job, I can't keep dealing with this person, something's got to change. Okay, so I do think you're hitting that wall, and it's uneasy and it's triggering, but it's also productive, because it's when we get to that point where we're like, okay, enough's enough, I can't. I've got to leave this job, I've got to leave this person, I can't. But the High Priestess can be somebody who's doing a deep healing, and with the Lion's Gate portal, it might be the catalyst you need to, like, really get up and start doing the work, the deeper work on yourself, the healing on yourself. And a lot of you are thinking about your long-term financial security, safety, stability, because you're going to have to. There's so much chaos going on in the world right now that you don't know what's going to happen next. And so I do think for the smart people, it's like, okay, the smart answer is to get prepared. Okay? You can try to anticipate all the things that are going to happen next, or you can prepare yourself, stabilize yourself, do the healing work, start preparing yourself financially, start preparing yourself mentally, and the world can fall apart around you, you'll be fine. He who is at peace with himself, the world can do no harm. A lot of people are at war with themselves. A lot of people have got a lot of trauma, a lot of unhealed wounds. So the world's just adding to that. It's projecting, it's mirroring back. People are triggering you because they're mirroring back to you the work you're not doing. Okay? The Fool. So some of you are dealing with a masculine. It could be a Gemini, Aries or Cancer. Another fuckboy. Okay? The devil is using the men as a way to fracture society. You know, these men now who are like, oh, I can't get married, and oh, you know, the bitch will take all my money. What money? What money? You know, she's not going to take anything because you haven't got anything to take. Okay? It's crazy. Okay? But the point I'm making is the devil is using these lower class masculines, these lower undeveloped masculines as a way to fracture, because men obviously rule the world and women covertly rule the world because they stand behind the men, but they're using these men as a way to fracture the couple. If you fracture the couple, you fracture the family, you fracture the city, you fracture the country. Okay? So a lot of you feminines are going to have to understand that you keep going to a pattern of non-committal men. Okay, so awesome he is right now, we're dealing with a masculine who's just not going to commit, he's wasting your time, he's a clown, he's at the circus, he's got no intention. This is really about being around people who are ready to build the future. In other words, they want to last on marriage, they want to last on company, they want last on friendships. It's really about investing in the people who want the same goal as you. Some of you keep investing in people who want the opposite of you, so you're not going to have a good outcome. Okay, so some of you need to get rid of someone out of your life, and I'm going to say Gemini strongly, Virgo maybe, Aries, Cancer. Okay, so leave these men to it. They're not going to win nothing. They're going to end up old, washed out and alone. They're not going to, you know, men who don't commit to something, that's the only outcome for them. Yeah, they'll be free, or they'll tell themselves they're free, but in the end you'll end up old, washed out and alone. And that's it. Okay, it's time for the feminines to say, okay, I want to be in a lasting commitment. I want to be with a man who's serious, committed to me, someone who I don't have to be on edge around because I know he's committed to our future. If you keep committing to a man who's non-committal, you're going to drive yourself insane. Same as there could be men watching this and you're dealing with women who are the same, because the women are something to be named these days. Stop doing it. I feel like the biggest message in this reading for the collective is stop committing to things that are not going to add value to your future. This is what's creating all of this uneasiness in you. It's what's creating all this instability within you, because you know you're building a house of cards that's going to collapse. There's no future. You keep being in temporary situations with temporary people. You keep falling from job to job with no plan, no career plan, no financial plan. So this, and also though, a big message I've just heard strongly is, why are you doing that? Why do you keep committing to these people who are not committed to you? Why do you keep going for these low-class jobs that are not valuing you? Why do you have these backstabbers around you? What's within you? Because remember what I said, the world is a projection mirror of the unhealed stuff within us, of the lack of value within us. People who value themselves, people who love themselves, people who are solid don't allow this into their life. So if you ask the right questions, you get the right answers, and I think that that's the message. Start writing, start journaling, start, I think a lot of us, and I know I've done this, I think when the world attacks you, when the world comes for you, when you're not getting what you want, it's easy to blame the world, right? It's easy to be like, oh, it's everybody else. But when you kind of flip it back and go, actually, I've got to be part of this for it to take place, then things change. So the fool is also someone who's either acting like a fool or they're being treated like a fool. So are you acting like a fool? Or are you being treated like a fool? And someone who's being treated like a fool is like where people come in, they waste the time, they use you, they exploit you, they disregard you. Okay? Are you acting like a fool? In other words, you've got no goals, you've got no aspirations, there's no schedule, there's no discipline, you're just free falling through life. What do you expect to get there? This is something that I've noticed with a lot of people, especially at the bottom. The entitlement is crazy. They expect all of this, but they don't want to put anything in to get it back. They want love, but they're isolated. It's crazy. Okay? So, I feel like some of you, it's about the deeper work, and they're saying for the ones who do it, there's going to be such good outcomes. For the ones who don't, there's going to be all this angry energy, all this stress, all this being on edge, all this kind of not knowing what's coming next, feeling like the world is coming at you and you've got no control. Because that's the thing, right, about when we don't plan our future. Someone else is planning our future. Someone else has got power and control because we've got no power and control and we're not planning, so someone else is doing it, right? So in other words, instead of us taking hold of the world and creating the world and dictating the world's doing it to us. People are playing with our emotions, people are playing with our financial security, people are fucking dangling carrots. Right? So I do think some of you have already got to that point, so you're kind of sitting in a life and a reality and you're like, what the fuck? But did you die? You know? And I feel like some of you have been through a really hard cycle, a really hard test of times. You've been betrayed, you've lost a lot, but there really is no loss, because you can take all of that and rebuild bigger than you ever did before. People have showed the true face, they've turned their back. The same people you lifted off their face are now stabbing you in yours, in your back, right? But the good thing about that is God is revealing people so you can get the devils out of your life. God is revealing who is true, who is fake. God is revealing who you can rely on and who you can't. He's showing you your strength. He's showing you the truth, right? Mm-hmm. So, but some of you, I do think you're in a painful time, because you're seeing the truth about a marriage, you're seeing the truth about yourself, you're seeing the truth about the people around you, and it's not easy. Okay? So, but I actually think this is the hangman. So some of you are being hanged out to dry. Okay? Some of yours money could just be like non-existent. In other words, everything is going towards bills, it's all going towards outgoing. You've got nothing coming in. See the world and then the money. But it's also on the back end of the pandemic, and also the rinsing of people and the failing of the business and just the situation people are in. It's time to recover. Okay? But see the way the hangman, he's like free falling, and then he's got the chains. But some of you feel chained to a job, you feel chained to a situation, you feel powerless. And see the way the money has fallen. So some of you, I think it's time to take hold of your life. It's time to get a plan. It's time to create a vision. It's time to start focusing on who betrayed you, what you lost, what was done, and rebuild. And by taking your lessons, it's not going to happen again. Stop involving yourself with those people. Stop doing the same thing, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. Okay? Everybody was fucked in the pandemic in some capacity, okay? People lost businesses, people lost jobs. Some people did well. They created businesses in the pandemic. It's just, what goes up comes down, and what goes down comes up, and that's what I'm getting for some of you. Some of you are down right now, but you're going to come up. And I think you're going to look back at these losses, these betrayals, what you see as failures now, and just be like, it was all pieces in a puzzle, like there was no loss, because there is no loss. Okay? So, but yeah, a big message is, some of you are like the fool. You're clowning about, you've got no plan, you've got no discipline, you've got no focus. Some of you might be like just tired, exhausted, depleted, you're just trying to survive right now. That's a big message. I feel like the collective is in a survival state. There's a lot of anger, fear, frustration, but they're telling you to take control of your state. You can't control the world, or if World War III is coming, or what that dickhead down the street does next, but you can control you. You can dictate your inner peace. You can dictate how you behave, right? And yes, there's a lot of clowns now. It's like the new trend to be a dickhead and a clown. Right? But those people are not going to get any, and putting bad energy out there, being a dickhead, acting mannerless, acting characterless is not going to get you nothing in the long term. Okay? So that's the message as well. The message is to think about what you're putting into the world, your energy, the way you're acting with people, the way you're treating with people, the way you're showing up. Because it's all going to come back, right? It's like a band that you pull back. Okay? So over time, you might be getting away with it in the moment, but that band is pulling and pulling and pulling, and it's going to clap back. Okay? So I feel like the big message here is to think about how you're showing up every day, get a plan about your future, forget about the past other than taking your lessons from the past. In other words, how did I get here? You know, how did I fuck up to get to this place and be stuck in this job or stuck in this marriage? Own things, acknowledge things, that's the message. Check out the Lionsgate read, it's in the description. You can also book the Love and Career read, the 6-month read. You can do a face-to-face. But I do think some of years it's time to do the therapy, and it's time to do the inner work. Okay, so it's also about like what frequency are you sending out, what energy are you sending out, what is your mindset like, what is your energy like, because that's all creating your reality. Okay, the Queen of Cups. So I feel like some of you, you're feeling really emotional. So right now, some of you might be bursting into tears. You might just be really sensitive to energy, to spiritual attacks, or you might be really emotional. You might just be like bursting into tears, which is fine. That's just the body and the pain and the betrayal coming up so you can process it. okay? But I do think the message for the collective now is we're in really peerless times, very dangerous times, really dangerous times. And I think anybody with their eyes half open can see it. And it's really about, we all add to that danger with the way we're speaking, the way we're treating each other, the way we're, you know what I'm saying, like the way we're interacting with each other, the way we're showing up. So I think it's time to decide which side you're on. Is it the divine or the devil? Because a lot of people are getting on the side of the devil because they will. I mean, they'll choose themselves, right? They'll choose their own survival. They'll sell out. But that doesn't mean you should. Okay? And the ones who've betrayed you and the ones who've left you and the ones who are acting like this, that's all it is. Stop getting sensitive. They've sold out. They're choosing them. Right? I mean, that's it. Like, we need to stop being so sensitive. It's like they're choosing them. They're choosing the path of the devil. And then there's people out here who'll choose the divine path and they lack correct and they lack moral and they're decent and they're going to do the right thing. And even if that's the harder path, they're going to choose that path because they don't want to be the devil in disguise. They don't want to be that. You know, they don't want to be dirty. But in general, I think the big message with the Lion's Gate and the energy this week is it's time to come out the shadows. It's time to stop hiding. The devil's not going away. You know? The goal now of the Matrix and these demonics and all of the things that are taking place is to beat you into submission. To own your mind, to own your heart, to own you. And that's it. The enslavement of humanity. That's the goal. And you need to look at our predecessors went and fought bears. Our predecessors were here because our predecessors were tough motherfuckers. They were in the cave hiding. They were like, I make love today. I don't want to go fight this bear. But then motherfuckers got the fuck out there. And they saw that, they fought that bear, right? So the point I'm making is, the future now really belongs to people who represent humanity and they represent unity and they represent strength. We're not for sale. And we may be scared and maybe the enemy is formidable and maybe it is a big fucking bear, but we don't care. There's a way, there's always a way. Okay, and the pride that they would have felt when they took down the enemy and fed their people and protected their tribe. This is for the women and men. So yeah, I feel like there's a big message here where it's time to start protecting your community, protecting your family, protecting yourself. Humans instinctively feel fear, but the same system that rules fear rules excitement. I think it's time to start getting excited about the devil. It's like, oh, this devil, he just keeps showing up. It's like, maybe you're powerful in the game then. Some motherfuckers aren't being attacked at all, they're just being left. That's insulting. If you're just sitting here in your life now, just happy, positive vibes only, living your best life, I mean, it speaks for itself. But if you're out here and you seem to be getting a lot of shit thrown at you, maybe you're kind of powerful, right? So, on a serious note though, you do have to take your enemy seriously. You do have to show respect, right? Because enemies can be formidable, right? It can be an internal enemy. It can be the devil. It can be people around you. Don't be stupid, right? But some years it's about, it's hard to do this reading because I'm just getting a lot of wretched pain. I'm getting a lot of energy within a person that's hard to take. So some years it's things that are going on within you. It's sensations, it's triggers, it's rage, it's emotion that you're struggling to control. But maybe the message here is allow yourself to be angry. It's okay to be angry for what people have done to you. It's okay to be here for what this thing is that we call humanity and what it represents right now. It's okay, but don't brood in it. Don't feel it, transmute it, and then say, okay, thank you for the lesson. It's all blessings. And like I said, what God is doing is he's revealing the devil's plan. He's revealing the devils in your life. He's showing you the darker aspects of yourself. He's saying, the Lord said go to the devil. A lot of people are going to the devil because they're like, well, But the devil's going to want his fucking money, because the devil always wants something. Okay? So I feel like some years it's about, some years are going to become religious, you're going to start going back to God and you're going to start really becoming religious and you're going to start purifying yourself. And I do think that's a big message in this collective read. I feel like some of you are sitting there looking around at your friends and your family and you're like, yous are wrong guns, I don't represent you. I don't like you. So I remember there was people in my life who I was struggling to cut off, and a woman once said, if your family was people in the street, would you fuck with them? And I thought that was the most powerful thing. Like, I was like, probably not now. Then there's your answer. If your family and your friends was, but say your family was people in the street, would you fuck with them? And if the answer's no, you've got your answer, okay? Now, again, I'm not saying you should go cutting off your family. At the end of the day, nobody's perfect. But if the people around you really, really do not represent what you represent, they've got to go. They're dragging you down. They're making you dirtier, right? They're not making you stronger. They're making you weaker. Okay? So I feel like a collective message is, some of you are sitting there, and I'm even getting this clearing up now. Right? Some of you are dealing with a fuckboy, but I don't even really want to talk about this because it's so low class. But you're dealing with a masculine who's a clown, he's sleeping around, he's not going to commit, he's just a clown. A lot of these men are. I've got to say it. Like, I'm not saying there's not amazing men out there who don't show up, of course there is, but a lot of them are just playing. They all think they're gangsters, they're cheap, they talk about nothing, the TikTok brain, the mush, like, this is not funny. And as a high-class woman, my advice would be stay away from it. You need a man who's a provider, a protector, he's showing up, he's doing his best. You don't need to be around a man who's creating fracture and disease and pain. He's creating generational trauma with his actions, because that's what this all is, this new culture of, men get to fuck everything without any commitment to anything. It's generational trauma. It's generational fracture. But as women, we need to stop complaining about these men and say, why am I around this man? Right, remember what I said about the black mirror, the flip mirror? Okay, it's time to flip the mirror and be like, okay, well, if I was such a high-class woman, why would I be married to a man who's like acting like this, who's cheating on me? Or why would I be around a man who's acting like this? Exactly. So, something about this Lion Gates portal, and I haven't really looked into it, but a few people have been talking about it. I feel like it's about ownership. Some of you are in the shit right now. Deep shit. I mean, like, deep mud. Like, you don't know how you're going to get out of a financial situation, a marriage, a job. There's a lot of fear controlling your thoughts. Some of you have got a blocked pineal gland. Okay, so I think you need to open up your pineal gland, because your pineal gland is where, if that's blocked, you can't see past your current reality. Okay, so by opening up the pineal gland, you'll be able to see more clearly. You'll be able to get out the matrix conditioning, the fear, because the collective consciousness, it's like thick, deep, right? And everyone's a mouth now. If you noticed, everyone's got an opinion on everything. They should try some silence. Okay, the point I'm making is, I'm not saying humans shouldn't have opinion. I'm not saying we shouldn't speak. But I think we also need to start using the path of discernment and knowing when to speak and knowing when to be quiet. That's why I haven't been creating, I haven't been putting anything out there, because I'm like, right now I don't feel like I have anything to say that people aren't saying already, okay? So, I feel like some of you need to open up your pineal gland, some of you need to work on your sacral, because for some of you feminines, you keep bringing in these lower demonic masculines, these sex only, these messy, traumatized, low-class men, because you've got a block frequency in your sacral. And some of you are so emotionally malnourished that you just need the comfort, right? So in other words, when a woman is truly, truly malnourished, she just needs the comfort. And so you know what they say, when you're hungry, you'll eat anything. So some of you can keep playing in the same game. You can keep doing the same patterns. You can keep blaming everybody else. You can keep adding to the mass fracture, the mass craziness. Or you can pull back in and say, I've got to heal. There's an energy I'm sending off. I need to look at what my reality looks like, because there's something in me, in my behaviour, in my patterns, in my field, that I'm sending out there to put me in this reality. And until you learn what that is, you're going to keep being outwardly focused, trying to fix the world, trying to understand everything else, instead of understanding it's in you. Okay? So, but the really, really good stuff is for the people who do this week, something with this Lion Gates portal, you're just going to break out. It's going to become effortless. You're going to stop fighting other people. You're going to stop being concerned with other people. You're just going to be looking at yourself and being like, this is me. You know? And I feel like, some of yous, there's something about, I got a knife to the throat, but what I'm getting here is all the censorship, being stopped from speaking, being stopped from expressing yourself. This could be in a marriage, it could be in a job, but I feel like the collective right now feels suffocated. Okay, and the reason for this is that people feel like they just have to go to jobs and shut up and put up. People feel like they just have to kind of, accept what it is. There's an element of suffocation. Okay, your external reality doesn't match your internal needs, your internal wants. But for the ones who get out, it's like, okay, right, if I keep playing in the matrix, I'm going to keep getting the matrix. If I keep thinking the same thoughts, I'm going to keep creating the same outcome. If I keep being around the same people, it's going to be the same outcome. So you're starting to think different, you're starting to feel different, you're starting to do the deeper work, you're starting to heal. You're starting to be selective of the people you're around, the people you're listening to on the internet. You need to get a plan. I feel like some of yours, all your energy is going into the past and what was and what people did, or maybe the present, like what is right now and what people are doing right now. It needs to be focused on the future. In other words, move forward. The attacks are going to be there, the spiritual warfare is going to be there, the dark's going to be there, there's much coming to humanity. The age of Aquarius is basically the age of wars, and it's the collective consciousness and the mass madness and the house of cards that we've built collectively that is now coming down. Right? So, but I'm saying you need to, the biggest message to the collective watching this is fuck other people. What are you thinking? What energy are you sending out there? What are you doing? How are you showing up? What's your plan for the next decade? Who are you watching on the internet? Who do you surround yourself with on a day-to-day basis? What are you eating? What does your day-to-day schedule look like? What's unhealed within you? I feel like there's so many people out here who are moaning, and we've all been guilty of it, and it's been a hard time. I mean, since the pandemic, all of the fucking attacks, the energy, the evil eye is crazy. There's people out here, the woke police, who think they can dictate what people say, what people do. I think it disarmed people at first. I think it kind of shocked them. But now people are getting good with dealing with the devil. They're not complacent, okay? But they're getting better with dealing with the spiritual attacks. They're getting better with standing up for themselves. They're getting better with the woke police and the censorship. And they're starting to say, okay, this is what it is, the new reality. And it's time to adapt to the new reality, okay? And see what you can build from there, and how you can protect yourself, and how you can build even better than you have before. Okay, the lovers. Again, some of you are dealing with, I feel like some of you, your energy is still stuck in a past person. So we talked about this with the divine feminine. See the way the man is a spirit. So some of you in your energy field, you might be hung up on an ex, or you might have had sex with somebody and that person is still embedded in your field. And this is what could be blocking love from coming in. Some of you are sitting around fantasizing about some guy you maybe you sleep with. You need to look at the facts. Look at people for what they are, not what they could potentially be. Look at your current job, your current financial situation. I think it's a time to look at the facts, to not be in wishful thinking and what ifs and all of this. It's to look at the facts of people. What are people showing you? How are they acting in your life? What is your current financial situation? Is your current job stable? Get out of illusions and irrational fear and irrational this, and look at the facts. And this is also, some of you are kind of maybe a bit delusional, because we can be right. This is where you say you're talented and you could do this and you could do that. It's like, okay, the facts show that you haven't done it. So get out the delusion, and if it's factual that you can actually do it, achieve this dream or achieve this money, then let's make it a reality. But that means getting a plan, getting a discipline, and making it happen, right? So some of you, there's some self-delusion going on where you all think you're big famous TikTokers, or you're big, and I'm not saying you can't be, but I'm saying, okay, go do it then. Okay? So what does your current reality look like? Some of you, like I said, you're waiting for this person, or you're in love with this person, but the current facts show that this person couldn't give a shit. This person isn't asked, they don't want to build a future, they don't care about you, right? When it comes to the heavy energy attacks, when it comes to the collective, I think it's time to just build your armor, build your astral, start working on your frequency, stop building your connection with God. Okay, these devil frequencies are coming in because you're not building your connection with God. God will take care of it. I had a situation, trust me now, God will take care of it, and he'll take care of the devil. And obviously sometimes people will physically be a problem, or they will try to be a problem. Then you have to take care of it. Don't be naive. We live in a predator world. I mean, if people are a threat, you have to take care of it. But most things God will take care of. Most things do not need to be acknowledged, especially if it's a devil frequency. They're just trying to bring you into it. They're trying to attack you, so you're distracted and you don't create, and you're kind of sucked into their frequency. A lot of people are projecting out negativity because they're bored. You know, they're sitting around talking about your life, and if you looked at theirs, it's, you know, like, but bored people bore. Okay, the dark is always going to be trying to take out the light, and I think that is a big message for some people watching this. Are you the dark, or are you the light? Because our world is consisting of a lot of darkness right now, and I do think you need to take a seat and be like, am I the dark, or am I the light? And humans aren't doing this. It's all outward projection. Everyone else is the big bad guy. Everybody over there in the corner. Look in your own fucking corner. Look in your own backyard. Look at yourself. Take accountability. But I really feel like for those who do, things are happening. This could be extra income streams. That's also a message here to get your money right, to start building a side hustle, to start planning for the future, because it's getting harder to live. Some of years this can be owning multiple property. But some of years the Three of Pentacles is getting back into your passions, getting back into your work, getting back into your mission, or starting a mission and starting to build money and starting to build a purpose and starting to feel inspired by life. Okay? Because it's important to stay inspired by life. It's important because the minute you stop being inspired by life, what else are you going to do? You're going to be attached to hedonistic pleasure, hedonistic short-term wins. You're going to be addicted to things. You're going to be using things to distract yourself. You're going to be a consumer, not a producer. If you look at most people, they are consumers, not producers. They consume alcohol, they consume drugs, they consume, you know, that's what the gossiping about other people is. They're consuming another person's life instead of living their own. So the reason I'm saying this is some of you want to get on TikTok, you want to get on Instagram, you want to create, but you're worried about the attacks of people, you're worried about other people's opinion. Fuck these people. Don't know you, don't owe you, go away. And if you're going to attack me, don't worry. And like I said, also starting to put things in place that when people do attack your reputation, when people do think they're going to take your skills and your talents, when people do think they're going to hurt you, there's going to be consequences. I think some of you have learned a hard lesson, especially people like myself who were in the game before, and we were attacked and we were kind of hurt and we were kind of betrayed, but we've learned some very, very crucial lessons for the game that's coming. Okay, so it's really about, do you want to keep doing what you've been doing, which is going to keep getting you what you've already got? And some of you have got nothing, but with nothing, you've got nothing to lose. Or do you want to start really getting serious about your life? Do you want to be a personality who is bringing the collective down, or do you want to be out here building people up? And I think it's also about, the last message I'll leave for you is it's important to help people, it's important to guide people, but do be careful with people. Be cautious. Because there's a lot of people out here now who just don't care about you. You're a commodity. How can I use it? How can I exploit it? And then they'll disregard you. For many factors, right? So yes, it's important to be generous, kind. Of course, our world needs it. But it's also important to be discerning. Okay? You know? In other words, make sure people who have your time, your energy, your wisdom, your love, your heart, your friendship are worth it. This is the first video I've done in a while, so I'm kind of and the fans on in the background, but I really came on to give this message, but also to say that if you want to follow the new channel, it's in the description box below. I'm going to be doing weeklies again. If you don't want to, it's not a problem. I'm going to be doing weeklies again. If you're struggling, you can book a face-to-face with me. The tarot coaching is below, it's on deal. If you want the Lionsgate portal read, it is available for a short time. All links are in the description below. But yeah, you know, I like my work, I like creating, I like inspiring people. And yes, I'm going to do a new channel, see what the energy's like. And if it doesn't work out, who cares? That's how one used to be. Like, start trying things, testing things, try again. And you know what? Even if it doesn't work out, there's a million roads to go down. There's a million ways to win. There's only one way to fail, and that's quitting. You know, being bitter and salty and low frequency and talking about other people. focus on